Ashraf was so popular he had a 68% approval rating 3 decades after his death, and he was being considered as a Soviet Prime Minister and a future General Secretary when the potato truck crash killed him in 1980. But even to this day, Belarus has a great industrial base and great engineers, which is why the Minsk tractor plant is so successful. Now, moving on, another place where a communist state has worked was in Upper Volta, now known as Burkina Faso. Now, in the early 80s, a dictator called Colonel Zerbo was deposed, and Thomas Sankara, known as the African Che Guevara, and took over as Prime Minister of Upper Volta, and he renamed it Burkina Faso, which means Land of the Upright People. And basically, Sankara got to work. He nationalised mines. He launched a national literacy campaign. He vaccinated 2.5 million children in Upper Volta from meningitis, yellow fever, and measles. He also planted 10 million trees to combat deforestation in the Upper Volta. And interestingly, he presided over a land reform program in Africa that worked. Not only did it work, but it doubled wheat production. Basically, he took the land of the feudal landlords who'd sucked up the French when they were in charge of Upper Volta, and he distributed it to small farmers who produced wheat, thus doubling production. And he also suspended the poll tax, which was popular. He outlawed polygamy and genital mutilation, as well as that he outlawed forced marriage, and he gave pregnant mothers the opportunity to further their careers in education. He built over 350 schools and built hospitals, and all of this came into an end when Charles Taylor helped the CIA kill Thomas Sankara. And basically, a man called Blaise Compaoré presided over a regressive dictatorship until he was overthrown by mass violent protests in 2014. And Burkina Faso now is 183rd in terms of the Human Development Index, and they only have a score of 0.402. government